Hey guys, today's dream symbol video is on what if somebody dies in my dream, or I'm at like a funeral for someone, or a funeral for myself. And so I want to share what I've gleaned. This is definitely doesn't cover everything, but gives some revelation and some clarity on from what I've learned. I've studied under the amazing John Paul Jackson, who is with the Lord now, about dreams, and he talks about death. And I've also had a significant amount of dreams about death and funerals in my own dreams, to see a pattern of oftentimes what the Lord is saying when somebody dies in our dream. And the biggest clue that I've learned is that if somebody dies in your dream, but there is no blood, it doesn't look like a real death. It's if someone, loses, gets something happens to them in the dream where they died, but they're not, it wouldn't look like a real life event. There's no blood or, body bag or any of that. Oftentimes it's going to be a symbolic death of something that the Lord is going to, either a good thing, like this is about to die in them and it's a good thing because that needed to die a long time ago, or a warning of this person. It could be a death of a career, it could be a death of a relationship for that person, it could be a death of something special to them, and they do need to be warned. It could be the Lord warning that if a person makes certain decisions, it'll be the death of their marriage. So it can be both a warning of this would be a bad thing for for them to die, or a good death, like I want that sin issue or that relationship that's bringing you down to die. And so it's important to see the context of the dream. But another clue is if the person comes back to life after they die in the dream, there's another clue that it's most likely not a literal death. It's a death of something that the dream would show based off of the context. Another clue is if the person dies in the dream, but they're standing beside you in the dream and still interacting with you, even though you know in your mind from the dream that they've died, but they're still standing there. Oftentimes that's another symbol that it's not a literal death. And another symbol of a non-literal death is if you're at a person's funeral, but they are there. I had a dream that someone was going to it would be the death of their career, and they were it was at their funeral, and the people from their career were in the room mourning the death, but the person that had supposedly died was still there at the funeral. And so I knew when I woke up, the Lord was showing me this person's going to have a death of their career, and that the Lord was just showing that prophetically. And the only time that I have had a dream where someone was going to die, and before it happened and they actually did pass away, was I was at that person's funeral, and they were not there, and their spouse was in mourning. And so those were the signs for me. I didn't know for sure if it was literal, but when that death actually occurred, it was bizarre, but the dream, what happened in the dream and what the funeral looked like was exactly what it looked like in real life. And so I knew that the Lord was just giving a heads up that person it was their time to go, and they were going to pass away. And there was no, warning for that person. It was just saying that it was that person's time to go on to be with the Lord. So I just want to share those information. I know when I studied under John Paul Jackson, he talks about that for him in his 30 plus years of studying dreams, that if the death didn't look like a real death, like where there was no blood involved, then it's most likely a symbolic death. Because again, the biggest difficulty with dreams can be to discern if this is a literal or a symbolic event, and so that takes just learning and growing with the Lord. And remember, we also talked about that if a dream occurs, the same exact situation or dream occurs more than once, like twice, even if it's a little bit different, but it's the same exact scenario, oftentimes that can be that it will be a literal event. So it's just important to let the Holy Spirit lead you in these things. But I wanted to share that because the Lord really, as I asked him, what type of symbol do you want me to talk about? I heard him say, talk about death dreams. And so I just want to bless you with that. If you have any questions or maybe some things you've learned from your own study of dreams, then I would love to hear it in the comments.